Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Miracle Mindset. I have an incredible guest with me here today. Very excited to introduce you to Angel. He is an incredible beauty mogul. I don't even know how to explain you. He's a superstar, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to put it up here on the screen. He's got over 1.6 million followers on his Instagram. He has a great YouTube, and we're lucky enough to have him here sitting with us today. So thank you for sitting down with us.
I'm so excited to be here.
This is exciting.
I know, we finally get to do this.
He's also an entrepreneur. He's got a great brand. It's called Artist Couture, and we're going to get into that a little bit later. But first off, I like to start out the podcast by asking my guests, what is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice I've ever received. I think like the first one that comes to mind is I'm a Cancer, so I'm very, it's my little Cancer twin. So I'm very like, if anyone doesn't like me or something, like I have a hard time with it. I take pride in feeling like I'm a very likable person, but someone once told me, and it literally stuck with me and changed my life, is that you're not for everyone, and that's okay. And once I kind of really understood the fact that, like, you know what, you're right, like I'm not gonna be for everyone, it really kind of changed my mindset when it came to things like that. And I learned to not take things too personal, and it just completely changed a lot of different things in my life. And I think that's the first one that comes to my mind.
So you're not everybody's cup of tea. I like it. It's a good one. So you got over 1.6 million followers on your Instagram, which is incredible. How did you start building that following, and when did you start getting into makeup?
You know what's crazy is when I started my Instagram, I was working at MAC. I was just, a regular makeup artist working at MAC, and I remember one of my coworkers told me to download the app, and at first I thought it was just like a really awesome app for like filters for photos and stuff like that. And I had no idea that it was going to become like what it's been, and just how much, and just like how much it's just changed so many different industries. And I would just post photos of like my clients that would come into the counter.
Before and afters.
A lot of before and afters. People love a good transformation, so I post a lot of befores and afters. At MAC, we would go to training every few months to kind of get previews of everything that was launching that season. So when we would get product in stores, I would like post like swatches and photos and like super detailed information about like what was launching and why you should buy it and how I like to use it. And also at the time, I would post a lot of photos of like myself, like makeup looks on myself and stuff like that. And this is like back in the beginning of Instagram, where like there was an actual like popular page, where like if your photo did really well, it shot to this popular page, and
so different.
It's kind of like the explore page now, but back then it was called like the popular page. And I remembered like all of my stuff would always go on there. And that's kind of just how I grew my following. And that led to so many different opportunities. And that led to me starting like a YouTube channel, because I felt like people really wanted more instructional, kind of like longer videos. So I would do like a lot of makeup tutorials, like how to contour, how to, choose a foundation, skincare secrets, different like eyeshadow looks and stuff like that. And that's just kind of how it all started, and it has completely catapulted my career and has given me an opportunity to start a brand and do all of these different things in beauty, it's been such a wild, crazy ride.
So you have your own brand. Tell me a little bit more about that. How did you get the idea for that? How was that starting a business?
It was a really, really difficult thing because I didn't really have anyone to like guide me or show me. I had one friend that did like e-com. She had like a jewelry business, and she was like the first person that I ever really met that had like an online presence and like business and like running like an e-com store. So she was a huge help for me in the beginning. She taught me all about like, a few items to get from like, Amazon to be able to like fulfill orders and stuff like that. And I learned a lot of like back end stuff from her that I was able to like apply to beauty. And when Instagram started to take off and, brands started to take notice, brands started to reach out to me, and a lot of brands would give me like discount codes for me to share with my followers. And I would get back like reports from them and analytics, and I was just like so taken by the amount of people that were actually like using these codes and purchasing these products. And I felt like it was very telling of me as far as like people really were listening to the things that I was suggesting. Exactly. And once I kind of really grasped that concept in a different way, I realized, okay, I should probably start something, because if I'm able to you know, sell all these other products from these brands. Like, why is it not my own stuff? So I knew that I wanted to start a makeup brand. And I did it based off of the things that I felt were lacking and missing in my personal makeup kit.
So you took your knowledge of what was missing in your space.
Yeah.
And you were able to grow that.
Because I was actively working in the industry, doing like red carpets and like shoots and all like shows, like everything you name it, I've done it. And it was like a wild, probably like 3-year window where I literally was going like ham, like day in, day out. I was like freelancing everywhere. So I was literally doing makeup every single day.
Are you still a freelance makeup artist?
You know, I do it here and there for like some of like my clients that I became like really good friends with. But other than that, no, I don't actively do it as much. It's the time factor.
Yeah.
It's definitely the time factor. And I feel like I kind of focus on so much of the brand, you know. I do miss it. I enjoy it. I love doing makeup. So when I get to do it, especially for like some of like my celeb clients that I'm friends with now for like events, like I get so excited because I don't do it as much anymore. But so for me, I felt like, you know what, I want to create things that are multitasking, things that people can utilize for different things, and things that just pack a really, really big impact with really minimal effort. And that's kind of what inspired my first product, which was my loose highlighters.
It's a great business model because you found a problem and then you solved it. So you know that it's going to do really well. Yeah.
And like now even with like launches now and like products now that I work on, a lot of it stems from feeling like, okay, what's missing? What's something that I like that I can improve or that I want to change? And it's really awesome to be able to have all of that research and knowledge that I've had for like so many years and being able to apply it into my brand and business now.
So you have had some of the most influential celebrities, models, people like, I mean, we see them every single day on TV. And you have worked with them, you've modeled for them, for their brands, and they've also worked with your brand. What is that like? Have you got any juicy, crazy stories?
Yeah, I do have a little story. So at the time when I was freelancing, I kept telling myself like, I want to work with someone that's like right at the brink of their success. Because as a makeup artist, wardrobe, hair, like when you're a part of like someone's image, as far as like a celeb or something like that, the goal is to like land a really great position with someone that's like up and coming on the rise, like more like of a full-time role. So more like of a day-to-day, it's kind of like your go-to person. And I really, really was looking for someone like that for me at the time. And I'm all about, you know, manifesting it and claiming what's yours. And I was obsessed with Ariana Grande. I like was obsessed with her since the beginning, loved her music. And back then at the time, it was like super signature, like her cat eye. And like, you know, she was like literally on the rise and on the brink of like the success that she is now. And I kept telling myself, I'm going to work with her. I'm going to work with her. I don't know how, but it's going to happen. And it was my birthday. This was back in 2013. Okay. I was literally a little baby, 2013. And that weekend of my birthday, I was going to go to Vegas with friends. Everything was booked, flights, hotels, everything. And I get a random email in my inbox literally the night before. And it was like, hey, Angel, one of our clients sent us your information. They're really interested in having you do a makeup test. Can you please call me as soon as you get a chance? This is like 911. So I'm sitting there like, okay, should I like call? Like, who is this person?
Get ready for Vegas?
Yeah, like, should I just keep packing? But something told me,
just follow it up.
Just follow it up.
Okay.
So I call and I'm like talking to this girl and I'm sitting here like, is someone like playing with me?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, my client, her name's Ariana Grande. She sent us a screenshot of your Instagram and she wants you to glam her. And I literally was like, oh my God, like I cannot believe that she even knows I'm alive.
And so she took a screenshot.
And then she took a screenshot of my page and sent it to her team and said, I want him. I want him. So at the time, they were looking for a new full-time artist for her. So they flew me the next day. I literally canceled all of my plans, called all my friends. I'm like, hey, not going to Vegas. Like this is happening. This is major. Like I need to take this opportunity.
Yeah.
So they flew me out to Boca Raton in Florida. and I was there for a few days. I did a makeup test with her. So I got to meet her, did her makeup, which was literally one of the scariest things of my life, only because it was like such a major moment and it was just like such a huge opportunity.
Did you feel like so much pressure?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, even when you've done
like,
it 1,000 times, you probably feel pressure.
Heart was beating, palms were sweaty, I was sweaty. Like, it was just like the most intense thing because I just knew what a huge opportunity it was and I didn't want to mess it up.
So what happened?
So basically, I did her makeup. They were really, really transparent with me about the process, which was they were still flying in other makeup artists and they were still testing with other artists. So I was aware that I wasn't, you know, the only one. After I did her makeup, they kept me in Boca for a few days on standby, essentially, while they were still kind of like figuring out what was going to happen. At the time, I had started to work on my brand, but I wasn't full throttle with it just yet. And I kind of told myself, like, if this works out, I'm going to put the brand on hold and I'm just going to run with this opportunity. But I was like, you know what, whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. And I will never forget it. I was inside of the Sephora store in Boca. And I was just like shopping. And then I get a call from management and they're like, hey, Angel, so, you know, she loved you, but unfortunately, we're going to go with someone else. And I literally was devastated. Like I literally was like bawling my eyes out inside the Sephora store. All the Sephora employees were like running over, like asking me, like, "Are you okay?"
And you're like, "I'm out of my color here."
No, like, literally, I'm like, "Where's the concealer?" You know. But you know what? It was something that needed to happen. And like looking back at it now, I'm glad that it happened the way that it did because it really was the thing that kind of just made me go full throttle with moving forward with my brand. And although like it would have been such an amazing opportunity, I feel like it just wasn't my journey at the time. But I do think that like even her reaching out, even having the opportunity, even being considered, for me at the time was such a huge like just like booster. It was a huge kind of like a cosign, you know what I mean? As far as like someone like her noticing me. So it definitely was one of those like moments. It was bittersweet. It was a really great experience. It was a tough experience because it definitely made me, you know, have to get stronger and tougher as far as like the way that I felt, you know, because I would be lying if I said that after that I wasn't, you know, having a hard time with kind of just like bouncing back. But you know, I did, and I moved forward with my brand, and now we've grown so much, and now we're like sold inside of Sephora stores. So it's just been like such a great, you know, a great journey for me. And it was definitely something that needed to happen. And I love telling the story because I'm always like, I love her. She follows me. She just launched her own brand. She invited me to this really awesome experience that they did here in LA to like, for the launch.
So
I got to do that.
You got a friend, which is, you know, which is really cool.
I'm not gonna lie. Every time she like DMs me or like responds to my stories or something, I'm like freaking out.
Wait, that's how I feel when you respond to my stories. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Mac Daddy.
But I love her. She's super sweet. And yeah, it was a great experience.
Oh, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So you mentioned you had your brand in Sephora. What is that like? You know, we've all been going through this whole situation with COVID-19. It's changed so many things dramatically. What does that look for the future, like, I guess, makeup climate? Is that going to change? What trends have we got coming up? Spill the tea on that.
So I feel like because of COVID and, you know, everyone like working from home and everyone being like on Zoom, like it completely changed beauty. I feel like a lot of people for a while were just like not really wearing any makeup. I think if anything, people were doing like a little bit of concealer, a little bit of mascara.
It's like the no makeup look.
And people were just like hopping onto Zoom. I think like now that it's been like almost like 2 years, I think it's time that makeup comes back. I think people are ready and excited to like play with makeup again. So I think that like, I know that like this like 90s Y2K vibe is really influential in a lot of different spaces, like fashion and hair and just aesthetics. So I definitely see like that style of makeup coming back. And I feel like in the 90s, like super like high, like supermodel glam, like, you know, really beautiful full coverage, kind of like satin finish skin.
As long as we don't do the thin eyebrows.
As long as we don't do the thin eyebrows. I know.
That's the one thing that might, please don't come back.
I know. I think like, you know how like trends come back? I think like the 90s trend is coming back, but I think you learned that the thin eyebrows were not
Oh man, when I see photos of myself from high school, I was like,
did you have thin brows?
I had such thin brows.
Really?
Yeah, this has been a mission to grow them out.
Oh my God, you have great brows now though.
Well, now, thank you.
And I love your lashes, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely like I think heavy glam is coming back. Like
Heavy
tons
glam.
of eyeshadow, like bold cut creases, smoky eyes. I think it's time. I think people are ready to like have fun with makeup again. I think we're over just like putting on a little bit of concealer and a little lip balm and calling it a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, for people like myself, I don't know. I don't do a lot of makeup. I do my look. I think quite well. I don't know.
You do.
But it's my everyday look.
Yeah.
So for someone who wants to learn more about beauty, what would you recommend as a great place to start?
I think YouTube is a great place to start. There's so much. I always say YouTube is literally like free everything. You can literally learn how to do anything, make anything on YouTube. I think it's a really, really great place to start for anyone that like wants to start to dive into makeup. There's so much that you can find on there, from like specific looks to specific skin concerns. Like if you're someone that has like oily skin and you want to figure out like what foundation you should be wearing, there's so much on there. Also, the Sephora website does a really, really great job at helping you navigate and understand kind of like what you need. They have this really cool feature where you can do like different quizzes for different things. So you can talk about like, it'll ask you about like your skin concerns, the things that you want to achieve, and then it'll kind of like guide you and give you some suggestions. And then also, if you know it's possible, where you're from, I would definitely suggest just going into a Sephora store, talking to one of the beauty advisors and sitting down with them. And they do such a great job at like helping you like find your perfect shades as far as like foundations and concealers and stuff like that. And while you're there, make sure you guys shop Artist Couture as well.
Yes. And if you can't make it into the store, I'm going to link it as well in the description if you want to check them out. I'm going to be getting myself a highlighter. I'm
gonna send you like everything.
I need to glow up. You guys are not going to recognize me for the rest of these episodes because it's going to be like me, but elevated. We need it.
Blinding highlight every episode.
Just an extra blur. That's fine. Well, let's end up here with one final story. What is the biggest makeup beauty mistake that you've ever made? So I said mine was probably my brows. Do you have a moment like that when you look back and you're like, oh honey,
yeah.
What is it?
Brows was one of them, especially when I worked at MAC. I actually would literally shave off like the ends of my brows because I was obsessed with my brows looking like straight. So now do you see how like they kind of curve down a little bit?
The goals.
Yeah, before I would literally shave the ends and I would literally take a gel liner and I would literally just pull them like all the way out.
Dang.
I don't know why, but I did. That, and then also overly highlighting under my eye area. I would literally take like a concealer that was like literally 10 shades like lighter than my skin tone, and I would just slap it on all right in here, and I would literally set it with like the brightest powder I could find, and I was literally walking around with like literally like ghostly, just like ashy. It was just bad.
But you looked awake. Well, look, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I had so much fun chatting with you. And guys, as always, don't forget to check him out. I'm going to link him in the description below. Of course, his Instagram and also his YouTube as well, and his brand. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you guys very soon.